Hello everybody and welcome back to another Beyond All Reason video. Today we are on the map Feast of Hades with Yanami playing Cortex today and their opponent, a new challenger, Falling Stars. Now this map you've seen before on the channel quite a few times, and Yanami starting in a pretty far back position here. It does give Yanami a good defensive position. There's not going to be anyone attacking him from, well, only from this side and this side. So it does give him a fairly safe space a bit further back here in order to build plenty of economy as long as he defends those parts. Now, if you've not seen the map before, let's have a quick look at it. You've got the start positions currently presented at the top and bottom of the map. And along the center, there is sets of large metal extractors. As we zoom on in here, right in the center, there is metal extractors with the strength of 3. And then in this north, well, it technically is north hill, we see them again. Triple, well, an extra 1 point metal above the rest of the extractors. Now, in essence, this map is divided into 2 lanes. We have a lane coming this direction, and this is bear in mind for 1v1s. A side going this way into Falling Stars base, and then going directly out of the bottom. And so, generally, players will focus on sending forces either side and will group them up as they move round. Generally attacking the bottom. Now, as we have a look at what Falling Stars is doing so far, going vehicles and also playing Cortex, has a couple of solars already and is getting a incisors out straight away with already a construction turret on the go, using their con now to move up to that high ground area where they will build metal extractors and start to expand along this northern line, ending up building defenses here, which is, you know, where Mr. Yanami needs to do. Already expanding with a single con, and we see Yanami is also doing the same here with this guy, but the biggest difference is that in the base, Yanami has kept himself there. Now, he isn't assisting right now, which is a bit of a mistake. And as we press shift space, we can see this is the queue that they have. Scouts, incisors, con, incisors, scout, con. And those scouts will be done pretty quickly. Now, although we slightly missed that, there was an attempt to get some value here from a scout, but it was dealt with very quickly. Now, we've kind of had a quick look around the map. The only thing of note that's worth mentioning is that pretty much all of the outcrops have these little crystalline structures. There's quite a lot of energy to be had in those, so definitely something that's worth looking at, trying to nab up. This is one of the reasons why a lot of people go resbots, get resbots out, but there's a good amount of early energy you can use to invest. Now, switching over to the normal camera for a bit. Yanami is, yeah, just doing his thing. Assisting the factory, but basically with no energy at the moment, it's not going to go too well as building this con turret using 3,200 energy. And these spectators calling it already just due to that massive energy stall. These incisors sat here kind of waiting for numbers before he sends them off. He does Purple Heart going all incisors AFK. There was a whole 2 of them, if not all of them. Other ones were making their way across, and we can see this is what both players currently see. Yanami is aware where Falling Stars base is, especially with this scout along the top now, trying to sneak in and be able to get the metal extractor, but the commander is already there, ready to go. As we select Falling Stars does not know where Yanami's base is whatsoever. Falling Stars not really getting any aggression out at all, and is playing purely defensive. So I was like, who is this guy? Currently, there are quite a few incisors, all in defensive positions. And in a normal game, well, this is a normal game. Normally, it's you sit defensive and just hold off. You're going to get absolutely annihilated. But we'll see what happens here. Technically, Yanami has kind of like open map to play with due to the fact that this Falling Stars guy is just sitting in base essence and slowly pushing out. Generally, you want to pressure your opponent, but Falling Stars currently not really doing much. 500 medal currently sat in the bank for Falling Stars. Yanami, on the other hand, oh, that's Yanami, sorry. Falling Stars was the one that must have had 900 metal set around. Falling Stars nowhere near enough energy production. Incisor does manage to get that scout though before any danger comes up. Currently though, metal difference is not good. 65% economy difference between the two players. That's well over 10. Well, to be fair, well over 10. That's like 5 metal extractors. Not the end of the world. It couldn't pass through that way because there's a metal extractor and a wind. That's why it's had to go all the way around. And you can see Yanami slowly building up his energy production here. He does actually have 4 solars as opposed to Falling Stars 2. With the wind here being so volatile, it's a bit of an iffy thing to rely purely on winds. You need to have at least some energy storage, which Falling Stars does already do. Falling Stars though with a decent chunk of incisors right now. Total of 13. Along the bottom though, Yanami only has 5. Saying that there are a large group of incisors trying to make its way in. The LOT is here to defend. Single LOT will not be enough against that many incisors. The con is perfectly fine. No real problem there. And for those that aren't aware what a con is, con stands for construction vehicle. Meanwhile, Falling Stars finally getting a bit of damage dealt. The Exploiter does not have full energy enough to fire. And this Falling Stars doing a good job actually, splitting off a single incisor off to deal with that con while he keeps that push moving elsewhere. This is forcing Yanami to split his attention and reinforcements. And this harass has actually got some decent value. If it keeps going and manages to get another con, this is going to be pretty good value for this incisor push here. And it does manage to do that, delaying expansion for Yanami quite considerably. This push will just continue going as it makes its way all the way back to base. Meanwhile, Yanami's trying to close the gap here to make him get a surrounded bonus, but it's just not happening. And instead what might happen is these units will just end up turning around once reinforcements arrive, taking out all of Yanami's army. At the same time, another big group of incisors pushing in again on the bottom. The biggest problem for Falling Stars right now is vision. He doesn't really know where his opponent is. Yanami's incisors do manage to make it through. But as he gets closer and closer to the factory, there's only so much he's going to be able to do. And you can see here, Falling Stars actually choosing not to chase Yanami's tanks here, knowing that they'll never catch up, and just rely on the reinforcements and rely on the LLTs that he already has to deal the job. As long as the cons stay alive, they can rebuild the metal extractor pretty quickly. Meanwhile, on the bottom, the second wave of incisors not able to generate as much value. They do get another metal extractor, bringing it to level as well right now. Yanami with an idle constructor here. A great raiding going from Falling Stars now, as we've gotten a bit more into the game at the 10-minute mark. Falling Stars just doing aggression on every single side, forcing Yanami into a very defensive position. And the biggest thing here is taking out this like forward expansion. He's done a very good job at taking out that, limiting how far Yanami can push. The problem is he's not really making the most of it on the top side, but on the bottom side he is expanding pretty well here. He's got a couple of metal extractors down. Yanami did manage to clear up 2 here, but he's got 3 expanding cons on this left side. Ooh, that's 4 red incisors dead. Just there alone. But it does seem like Falling Stars is enough. Yeah, to hold that line. And not only that, this reclaim field will be in Falling Stars control. There's 400 there that will be going to Yanami. The middle is looking like it's going to go to Falling Stars. So that's 800 metal that should be going into the bank of Falling Stars. Currently metal produced though, we're seeing 4k metal difference between the 2 players. Yanami with a decent chunk of chains extra right now, but still not enough to make a difference right at this second at least. Yanami switching up, getting some air in with some shurikens. We can see Falling Stars also doing the same. Something we don't often see is Falling Stars actually just grouping up his units right out of the factory before sending them off to the front lines. Shurikens are going to make this harder for these cheap incisor pushes. Although saying that, incisors don't do too bad against shurikens, which is a little bit surprising. See there, did manage to take one out. Push at the bottom, going to kill the constructor of Falling Stars if he keeps moving. Oh, this is a lot of metal that Falling Stars has got on. Is he going to use it to transition to Tech 2? No, but he desperately is building more build power and a transition over to brutes here away from incisors. Get a bit more tankier tanks on the field. And Falling Stars is eco is scaling very well. Army value is also very, very close. Both players doing a decent job here at basically keeping each other on their toes. Incisors, though, going to be a big force multiplier here. Not enough, though, for Yanami to actually pull ahead with this force and actually not pulling them back, meaning that these incisors are also going to die. Con in the middle will get picked off, but it's not really that big a deal. It gets a bit of a reclaim and that's it. This force along the north, though, interesting that these didn't try and chase this down, because this con is maybe going to get caught out here. And as we select Yanami, yeah, no constructors for a while. His build power is spread out a lot. And this does make it a lot more difficult for someone to just come in and bomb you. He's actually not producing enough energy at the moment, though. As you can see, all of his energy converters are also idle right now. The biggest difference is when these brutes start hitting the field, how much damage they're going to be able to inflict. More and more metal extractors being picked off one by one by Falling Stars. Falling Stars not really with enough energy right now. But going for a double vehicle lap. That will help him spend all of that metal he's got. Just little dribs and drabs of fights all across the map, as these two brutes manage to pick off yet another exploiter that's just moseying on around. His incisors get stung. This could be dangerous. 4 incisors could get around the back here and inflict plenty of damage, but with all these brutes on their way, that ain't gonna happen. We see Yanami transitioning over to brutes himself now. And this incisor line will not be able to hold against that very easily. Both players just throwing fighters at each other though, not really for any like big strategic victory here, not really fighting over anything substantial either. But Falling Stars with strong control of the bottom of the map. The middle and top are still questionable as of right now. Oh, we did miss these incisors, managing to pick up a triple mechs right outside of Falling Stars base. And still no transition to Tech 2 from Falling Stars or Yanami. Well, there are a big group of tanks here, 9 tanks. But shurikens now piling out. Does seem like Yanami not willing to take the risk and push with this force. And it does seem that Falling Stars is doing quite well on the air front right now. Neither player feels threatened enough to mix in rocket trucks with their vehicles. As we see here, we can just see tanks, scouts, and con from Yanami. And as we switch over here, we just see tanks and scouts coming out from Falling Stars. No cons at all. And this big tank force of Falling Stars is enough to pick off these tanks that are left remaining. There is a con here, which actually will end up being fine, as well as these shurikens do a decent job. There is a large group of brutes here at the bottom, but I think combined with all the tanks he's got on that side, it's not really worth it, to be honest with you. Let's look at the stats though. We see a bit of a varied metal difference between the two players right now. Yanami with only 55 metal income as opposed to the 73 of Falling Stars, managing to claw back quite a lot of that distance between the two players from the beginning. And energy a second, technically Yanami is ahead on that. Build power though is advantage to Falling Stars, meaning he's going to be able to use more of that metal a second that he's got coming in. And the biggest one here is metal produced. Technically Yanami is still ahead now by 2k. Army value though is not in it, which means that that money must have been spelt elsewhere, or the wrecks completely destroyed of the things that it was spent in, or more likely just not been reclaimed yet, as there is 2k almost just here. And if Falling Stars is able to reclaim all this, they're going to put them basically at equal pegging. And Falling Stars is able to just keep pushing and pushing and pushing. With this con behind, getting all that reclaim. How far is Falling Stars going to be able to push this? There's a decent amount of tanks ready to defend this. I don't think they'll get up the hill. He risks feeding a lot of metal if he loses this all here. 700 is already there. And yeah, falling back, Falling Stars. Also, biggest problem is now, look how much metal he's got. He accessed a little bit here. And continuing to have to fall back now, Falling Stars. He needs to spend that metal. He's got way too much metal. No transition to Tech 2. He is actually plonking it all into solars, it seems, as a way of trying to use this metal while he can. But Falling Stars doing a great job at just attacking from so many angles. Look, he attacked from this angle and then fell back, right? But whilst he's falling back with that force, he's attacked from here, and like that, and like this, and from up here, all at the same time. And Yanami is desperately struggling to just control the flow of enemy units into his side. Yanami has not been on Falling Stars' side of the map for a very good while now. And Yanami's just getting left behind. He's trying to catch up with the E-converters here, but metal a second is almost double at this point. Some of that may be coming from Reclaim. Actually, it doesn't look like any of it's coming from Reclaim right now. Very, very well played. Still no Tech 2 from Falling Stars. There is a potentially dangerous push here on this left-hand side, but it looks like it's not going straight up. Instead, Yanami ends up getting his tank forces sandwiched between the two large army of tanks by Falling Stars. Quite a massive mistake there. Not only that, but diving into a double LLT. And that's a lot of tanks to be lost there, leaving another 1.38k metal just there with another almost 2k. Well, 2k combined, at least a little bit more. Metal produced now is still around 2k difference between... Oh, actually, hold a minute. Flip the script. Yanami is now 2k behind. It was the other way around a minute ago. That just shows how much reclaim there's been and how much this metal difference is. Finally, Yanami able to get a bit of damage dealt to Falling Stars. Managed to take out a couple of Acon and some expansion mexes, but he could really do with getting that reclaim. There is, 2k worth of reclaim at the top. And we do think maybe that's what's going to happen. You can see him building air transports here. Probably with the intention of airdropping either cons or con turrets. He could be dropping a con turret up here, soak up it all, and then fly his con turret back. You do tend to see that relatively often. No, it just seems like he's moving his con turrets to help with Tech 2. Meanwhile, Falling Stars has gone Tech 2 and is airdropping a Tsar to the front line. I'm loving the fact that we're seeing players use air transports a lot more than what they used to. Another Tsar being built as well. And if this air transport does manage to make it to the front, having a Tsar already on the front line is going to be quite a lot for Yanami to deal with. Second Tsar picked up. Now, a single Tsar on its own is not a great mix, but it is enough to force Yanami to back off. And I think the army value number is just ticking further and further up towards Falling Star's side, and Yanami is desperately in a difficult spot here. Tsar's already out and about. He's chosen to go on Tigers himself and is actually reclaiming his Tech 2 lab here. The reason for this is he's probably wanting to get Tech 2 economy up as quick as possible, and he's going to want the metal for that. And he'll plan on rebuilding it at a bit later time. This is a bit of a risky move. He's relying on the army that he's got basically to hold off for now. But he does know his opponents just dropped Tsars on the front line. Now he's really pushing to get this fusion done before he rebuilds his factory. You can see some reclaim being gotten here from this aircraft at the top. And you can see Yanami here doing the right thing. He's not grouping his units up in a ball in order to fight this. He's having them in this big line. Because if you have them all grouped up, this Tsar is just going to absolutely wreck you. Now, he is talking about energy excess. I don't have an energy excess on this line, unfortunately. Just due to it generally not mattering as much. But energy excess is 456k for red. We had Banishers coming out now. This force is going to die on the north side. No way that is going to be able to defend whatsoever. Question is how much is this force going to do? Yanami leaving this force to his open flank. Does he even know it's there? He does. I selected the wrong player, but he does indeed. And I kind of feel like Yanami might realize this is GG at this point. Moving a Tech 2 Con into a very silly position here. Going to loot, or surprisingly, he doesn't actually manage to lose that. Fruit's getting some E damage here. There is a fusion, so it's not the end of the world anymore, but still enough. Yanami not doing anything with his commander here to assist. Yanami wasn't paying attention to his combo, the looks of it. Ooh, calm down to 20% health. At the same time, though, Shuriken's coming out and another tank force making its way in. Yanami realizes there is no way back from that. Commander died. And Falling Stars victorious. Maybe a new star is rising. Beating Yanami Chisato, one of the very high technically skilled players. Falling Stars, someone maybe for us to keep an eye on more on the channel and see how well they do versus some of the other big opponents. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all next time.